What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to another frustrated, another head-scratching, another angry, another letdown, another whatever word you want to insert match reaction here on Anfield Agenda. Not for the first time in recent memory, the Reds have got into a winning position right at the end of a game, only to throw away the 3 points with some pathetic defending. Yes, you give Reid every credit for a truly wonderful strike, and it was. If you're a Fulham fan, you're over the moon, you're delighted, and understandably. But if you're a Liverpool fan yet again, if you've travelled down from Liverpool to go and watch us play in the last couple of weeks, you've seen us go to Ellen Road and bottle a lead at the end. You've seen us go to Fulham and Craven Cottage and bottle a lead at the end. How many times? How many times do we have to see it before this absolute clown is fired? Fire him now. Don't let him even on the coach. Give him a train ticket. Send him back to fucking Rotterdam, anywhere, wherever he wants to call home. Adios, see you, bye-bye, arrivederci. No, I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. I can't be doing with it. My health can't be doing with it. My mind can't be doing with it. My football and brain can't be doing with it. I'm absolutely sick of the capitulation and the acceptance of mediocrity that is happening at this football club. It is absolute bollocks of the highest order. How do we do it, lads? How do we do it again? How? You score a goal at the end of the game. Fair play. Frimpong comes on. Delicious little cross. Gakpo sneaks in at the far post. What does he do? What does he do? The very first thing he does is get Joe Gomez up, bring him on, take off Gakpo, and then the next action is Fulham getting 20 yards of space with no Liverpool defender anywhere near them, and Reid just goes, I'll have me a bit of this. Hello, Mr. Top Corner. Guess where this ball is going? Sound familiar to you? Because it isn't the first time it's happened and it won't be the last. I don't want to hear James Pearce, Paul Gorst, Ian Doyle or anybody else tell me anything other than this little man needs to be fucking sent packing. It needs to happen. He's done. He is sucking the life out of this football club. Every Liverpool fan dreads the idea of watching us play. Dreads it. Petrified. I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong. You're going, even at 2-1. Were you fully confident? There's no words. There's no words. Look, people can say it's a worldie of a goal. There's no arguing that fact. The strike was incredible. But there's no Liverpool player within 15 yards of him. And it isn't the first time it's happened. It isn't the second time it's happened. And it won't be the last time it's happened. It happens over and over and over again. We don't close people down. Look at it back. There's no denying the quality of the strike. Absolutely world class. And from a Fulham perspective, I don't mean to take away from their goal. But I'm a Liverpool fan. I look at it with Liverpool eyes. And yet again, I see nobody going to close out. Nobody. He was standing on the edge of the box on his own. Oh, lads. And Arna's shaking his head at the end on the pitch. This is on him again. There is a man of the match poll, but honestly, the only poll I'm looking forward to is the time for the manager to be fired? Because that's the only thing I think that matters at this point, is when it's going to happen, not if it's going to happen. Revelation Artist said, what a disgrace. We should have won that game. The manager needs to go tonight, said Eddie Cox-Wilkins. Smash It is one of your best, Craig, on the net. 100% on your statement. Look, here's what happened, right? If anybody's a non-Liverpool fan that's coming in to watch right now, let me talk you through how we all felt over the course of this game. We go 1-0 down to a Harry Wilson goal and we're thinking, right, can we find a way into it? Can we find a way back? And we did. And we got an equaliser. At no point do you ever feel confident that Liverpool go on to win that game. You're just thinking, please don't lose it. Please don't lose it. Then we have a chance where Alisson makes a mess by pushing the ball out and Wilson hits the crossbar and we think, that's it. We've ridden our luck. We'll find a way to at least not lose it. Then by some absolute glorious stroke of luck, Anderson misses cutting out a cross at his own near post from Frimpong, and Gakpo bundles it into the back post. We wheel away in celebration. We're thinking to ourselves, yes, we've gone to Craven Cottage. We've stolen the game from them. We're running away with 3 points that we don't deserve. Maybe this is our luck turning. Doesn't last 60 seconds. Doesn't last 60 seconds before the ball's in the top corner. Fulham are wheeling away, and we have that all too familiar feeling of heartache, that all too familiar feeling of anger building from the pit of your stomach, that all too familiar feeling of how are we here again as Liverpool fans? How are we? Leeds United went 3-2 up, conceded late. Fulham went 2-1 up, conceded late. I don't want to hear unbeaten in 9. I don't want to hear it. I want to hear the manager is gone, because there is no trust, there is no belief, there is no faith. He is done. He is absolutely out of his depth, and I am frustrated beyond comprehension. The real Johnny Sin said, I hope that Reed Screamer plays in slots of nightmares tonight. He really thought Gakpo saved his job, but Reed has done us all a favour. And he takes Gakpo off immediately to go straight back into beta bitch mode of let's defend it. How many times have you seen Arna do that in his Liverpool career? Try to shut up shop and not being able to do it. We can't shut up shop. We don't have that option. We are the red light district of the Premier League. Always open, always gagging for it, always willing to receive one. That's what we are. Will said the arrogance of the players thinking the job was done. These performances are on slop, but the players need to also look at themselves. There's no arguing on that, Will. That I can't push back against you on that, bro. Of course the players have to have some personal responsibility. I couldn't agree more with you, mate. But you then get to the root of the problem and ask, why is that not there? It comes back to what I've said before about the extra yards, the running through a brick wall for the manager. They're really believing in what he's saying, that you would get under Jurgen. And do you know why? Because if you're going to walk back into that dressing room right now and Jurgen Klopp standing there waiting for you, you are absolutely bricking it at what you're about to hear. At the home truths that you're about to face, at not doing your job, not closing down, not being switched on, not showing the balls for the fight, not getting out and blocking. But now, they're going to go in there and they're probably going to see Arne Slot in the shower, crying in the fetal position, rocking back and forth, going, but I won the league, but I won the league, I won the league, I won the league. I partied with Wayne Lineker. I'm sure that's true. I won the league. Like I said, fire him. There's no defence of this. None. No Gorst article, no Doyle article, no Pierce article. No article can tell us what we don't know, which is that this man is out of his depth. Ten shots in the game again, 2 on target. 10 shots, 2 on target. We are the most wasteful team shooting in the history of football. No offence, but y'all didn't deserve to win. You're not wrong, mate. No offence taken. I'd be the very first one to sit here and say to you we didn't deserve to win. A draw is probably a more than fair reflection on that game of football. So I'm not trying to sit here and say we were robbed. Please don't let it come across like that's the way. Far from it. I thought we robbed them at the end and we were going to leave with 3 undeserved points. But no, we can't even see that out. We can't even see out the last couple of minutes of stoppage time anymore. That's how bad things have gotten for us. This says, I love your videos, man, but unbeaten in 9 and it's taken a wonder strike from someone the last scored in 2022 for Fulham to draw against us. Not mad at all. Let's get behind the team and support them. No. I'm sorry, man. I respect you disagree with me and I very much respect the way you've done it. But the unbeaten in 9 stuff is the type of behaviour that's allowing this to happen. Let's be honest. Unbeaten in 9, but you're forgetting the context. It's the easiest run of the season. Opta, any other analyst told us this is the easiest run of the season. Unbeaten in 9. We've bottled 3 points against Leeds. We went life and death with a shit Wolves at home and barely beat them. We beat Brighton 2-0 and they should have beaten us about 4-2. We've again, right today, thrown away 3 points again at the end in a win. Where is the goodwill? Where is the vibes to suggest 9 unbeaten's good enough? 9 unbeaten is nowhere near good enough without fucking wins. No disrespect to you, and I fully respect that we have a difference of opinion and how you've shown it. More than respectful, thank you. But come on, bro. I'm not being overly negative here. This is honesty. Unbeaten in 9, clinging on at the top 4 positions, defending champions. It's not good enough. Hume, Caicedo and this, no closing down for all 3. Exactly. That was unlucky for us, that goal. Please don't hate me. It wasn't unlucky. It wasn't unlucky at all. It was a great strike, granted. There's no denying that. Reid absolutely put the laces through it, and it was a worldy strike, deserving of a goal. But here's where the we deserve a part comes through. We didn't close him down, mate. We gave him the opportunity to get a free strike at goal and we're within 15 yards of him. That's the truth of it. And it isn't the first time, mate, and it isn't the second time. And I dare say it probably won't be the last time. We say it over and over again. You're at the end of your game, fair enough, you're defending your box from a throw-in. But you see somebody standing unmarked on the edge of the box and you don't send somebody anywhere near them? Come on. You can't be doing that. LFC, you'll never walk alone, 97. Thank you, mate. We'll slot in today. He has to go. We need a change. Bring in Ten Hag. Jokes aside, we've no plan. Poor defending. No pressure. No belief. So look, let's look at the unbeaten in 9 thing again for a minute. How many of those games have we come away from still feeling heartbroken? Like today, like Ellen Road against Leeds, like the boring 0-0 we played out with Leeds at home. That, like, unbeaten in 9 does not tell the truth of the situation. We threw away a win against Leeds at Ellen Road by not being able to defend late. We've thrown away a win at Craven Cottage by not being able to defend late. And we've played the most boring, monotonous game of football at home against Leeds United. We've gone life and death with Wolves and beat them 2-1 and we're clinging on at the end. Please be honest about it. Don't give me this unbeaten in 9 shy, because it's that type of toxic positivity that's allowing this manager to not be fired. It needs to be unequivocal from the fan base that this is not acceptable. And I'm not saying the players are bereft of any responsibility here. Of course I'm not. But if they're not responding to somebody, the bigger picture needs to be looked at. Mark Harding said, we don't look like winning any game. Arne Pulis should be deluded to think this is good football. Would I take Enzo Maresca over Slot? I don't know enough about Maresca, is the honest answer. I really don't. And I think he's been groomed to take over from Guardiola at one point at City. He did well with Leicester. I'm not really exactly sure what happened at Chelsea behind the scenes because I'm not close enough to that football club to pay too much attention. But here's what I don't get. There is a mindset, and it's an understandable mindset, but I disagree with it. And that mindset is keep him in till the end of the season and then fire him. And then the manager that you probably want, you've a much better chance of getting. In theory, I understand that. But I think there's also a downside to that. And the downside to that is you're going to keep seeing this over and over again. So what the best case scenario is what you just about find a way. That's the best case scenario, is you keep the status quo and grind out some wins and games you should win. But if you brought in somebody, a caretaker, a Heidinger, a Gerrard, somebody who's very clear they're not getting the job, at least they might be able to manage better. At least they might be able to put some more confidence and fight and fire into those players. And at least they might be able to salvage something. Because can you imagine what the mentality is like now in that dressing room? Another game where they've come away having thought they'd won it at the end and not finished it out. They're going to be on the floor. Same as the fans who travelled all the way down to London today. Same as the fans who travelled all the way down when we took on Leeds at Ellen Road. We've thrown away another win. Whether we deserved it or not, that's what we've done again. Not going to lie, but that red light district comment was fire. Oh, I know you're mad, but that red light district was fire. Sorry, sometimes my brain just throws analogies into it, and I just hope I don't get in too much trouble when I say them. But I feel like that's it. We're open for business, front or back, mainly back. VR Joker said, "I fear the Arsenal game coming up, defending like we are." I don't know what to expect. I haven't got a clue what to expect going into that one. Someone said, "Gerrard, are you having a laugh? Who do you think should manage if Slot goes?" Or let me explain the Gerrard situation, because I understand. I don't want Gerrard to be the Liverpool manager. Let me put that out there really clearly. But what I do want, mate, is somebody that could come in right now and get a tune out of the players. Or get them running harder, working faster. Reminding them what it is like to play for this club and why it's important. Things that I think are forgotten, or at least aren't being followed through with this coach. So in no way do I think Gerrard is a long-term solution. None. Even if he was to come in and win the FA Cup, I wouldn't want him as the manager. But I would take him. I would take Dirk Cow. I would take Johnny Heidinger. I would take anybody to come in and at least put the good feeling back into the dressing room. Because they must be on the floor in there confidence-wise now. And I don't think Arna has the inspiration in him to pull these lads back up. That's why I say Gerrard, mate. Not because I think he's a super coach. Because at the very least, he knows what it means to wear the badge. And he knows what it means to go out there and what's expected. And what the basic standards are. And what the style of football that Liverpool fans expect is. And this is not it. We have no identity. None. Right, so we asked for your man of the match. It's pretty clear that it's Florian Wirtz with 53%. Connor, if you're in the background, can you put up the manager vote, please? Because I want to see how people are feeling. Much like the Isak one all summer, I'm going to be doing the slot one until the right thing is done as well. So Connor, ask, slot in, slot out, if you can, mate, while I work through some more comments. LFC, you'll never walk alone. 97 said slot ball. I'd rather watch paint dry. Why was Wirtz on the man of the match list? He was hopeless again. So the reason the man of the match list has worked from Connor is on a couple of things. He looks on the average scores and he looks across some maps and stuff as well. And let's not forget he did score a goal as well. There wasn't too many great performances out there at all today. In fact, you could make an argument it's not even worth winning the man of the match poll, mate. So I do understand where you're coming from. I do. I'm just trying to explain the methodology to you for it. But I get where you're coming from, Glenn. Slots ball, endless pass that don't have any clear intent will open up for more individual error and thus unnecessary counter-attacks. Why, Arna? Why? So let's look at the goal that we scored right at the end. That's something that we've all been screaming for a long time. And fair play to Frimpong, he delivered it. Gets the ball and an early cross. An early cross in front of the 6-yard box, right into that corridor of danger and uncertainty. Anderson wasn't able to cut it out, and Gakpo bundled it into the back post. We've been screaming for that. So well done to Jeremy on that one. And I think he has been a bright spark in recent weeks. But again, I keep coming back to the mentality defensively and the inability to just see out a game or to close or block a shot. It just seems... Like, was anyone surprised when they equalised? Like, genuinely, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. What? Or were you kind of like, of course it did. Because that's what happens to us now. Because that's kind of where I was. Connor said to me he couldn't even celebrate the winner because he didn't feel confident enough. Genuinely, when we scored that goal, I thought we'd won it. But I never felt like we were maybe not going to give up another chance. Noah Sanchez said, Soboslai covering spot, Virgil eating flies, said Noah. And right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to remind you as well, we are being brought to you today with thanks to our incredible sponsors, Big Up. Don't forget to come and join us on Big Up, a platform where you can play our predictions game for every single Liverpool watch-along this season. And well done to those who won some prizes today over there. Predictions on Big Up is a sweepstakes game where you can play to win fantastic prizes, and there's even a free-to-play option. Download the Big Up iOS app or head over to bigup.com and click on the Anfield Agenda watch along and select the predictions game. You see a list of 6 prediction questions for every game. Simply answer between 2 and 6 of those and choose your entry amount. In Power Play, you must get every one of your selections correct to win a prize. In Flex Play, even if one of your selections are incorrect, you can still win a prize as long as you have a minimum of 3 selections. When you join Big Up and enter your first predictions game, Big Up will credit you with $5 or 500 big bucks as a thank you and a welcome bonus. That can be used for future predictions games or to tip your favourite Big Up content creators, and you must be 18 years or over to play. And thank you again to our friends at Big Up, and well done to everybody today that managed to have a little bit of good luck, unlike out on the pitch. I've done that one. This one. The fact he thinks Harvey wouldn't have a role when we look like it makes no sense at all. So there's 2 things about the Harvey situation, mate, that are playing on my mind. And one is that there's reporting from the likes of Paul Joyce that we don't have a recall or a cancellation option there. That's fair enough. But I'm sure Villa would be happy to cancel it because they've willingly said they don't want to play him because they know if they play him and they trigger the clause, they have to buy him. So there's surely a case there to say to Villa, right, well, look, common sense. And you're right, we could use Harvey in the second half of the season for exactly games like today. Arna's going to use so many things as excuses. Injuries, but he won't use the fact that the injuries come because he overloads the players, because he wants a small squad, and he's ignoring Chiesa. 85 minutes, by the way, again today, before he came on. Rio didn't get a sniff. None. No minutes. 2 substitutions until the end, where he then brings on Joe Gomez for Cody Gakpo after Gakpo scored the goal to put us ahead, and yet we still concede. It's just soul destroying. It's soul destroying. Soboslai covering and Virgil eating flies. This one, sorry, from Marky Mark. Craig, has to be Unai Emery in, and he would be attainable and in the FSG model. Enrique is the dream, but not happening. Slot has to go secure 4th. Like, even the fact that we're sitting here saying securing 4th, like that should be in any way good enough. We're defending Premier League champions. In the summer, 4th wasn't talked about. Defending the title and trying to win the Champions League was what was talked about. Now we've got a tricky away game against Marseille, and if we win that and we beat Karabag, we might get in that top 8, and that will make our path a bit better. But my God, lads, we've Arsenal on Thursday. How do you think the players are going to feel heading into that game after that again today versus how the Arsenal players are going to feel? Declan said, can't attack, can't defend, Slot has killed us. Thoughts on Ange Postecoglou style for Liverpool? No, thank you. Again, we'd be way too open defensively. I like Ange as a guy. Seems like a very nice man. If Slot wins the Champions League, would you still sack him? Again, it would need context. Most likely no, if I'm being blunt about it. Any manager that wins a Champions League and a league, I would probably bear more pain because, yeah, I'd take that. But I still wouldn't be convinced by him in any way because I think it would be the players that would have won it and not him. Maybe I'm being unfair on that. But I tell you what I don't want to do. I don't want to sit around and find out because I don't feel like there's much of a chance that we're going to win the Champions League. And it's another one of those hypothetical questions that, you know, it's impossible to answer fairly because context. Like if someone said to me, a draw away at Fulham, is that the worst result in the world? My sensible brain would probably have gone, no, it's not the worst result, but it's the way it comes about, right? It's the way the draw at Leeds came about away. It's the way the draw at Fulham comes. it just leaves you feeling like you've been kicked in the nuts again at the end of the game. Feel nothing going into games and nothing coming out of games. Regardless of the result, he's got to go. We've gone back to doubters from believers, said JCD. Malty said we should have lost. Wirtz was offside. That goal did look from the naked eye like he was off. I was pleasantly surprised. And look, VAR's there, we don't do it. But to the eye, I thought he was off. But pleasantly surprised it was given. That was a team that played for the sake of playing in spite of coaching, not because of it. Said 3 months ago, teams lost. Said it with the wins. I feel you're right, Chris. I feel what you've said is fair. There's players out there who are trying because they love the club, they love the fans, they're trying. But they're trying against the manager who is a beaten man. And even at that, there is still basic stuff like closing people down that we're not doing well enough. And there isn't enough leadership at that back anymore. We have deep, deep problems. And a centre-back needs to be gotten immediately. Immediately. At least low block is no excuse today. Don't forget, Harry Wilson's little dink over the keeper that hit the crossbar could have had them up in that game as well. Like, we rode our luck at times today as well. Myself and my dad are going to the Burnley game at home. I never thought I'd be nervous for Burnley at home, but here we are. I'm just fed up with this now, said Jamie. Well, I wish yourself and your dad a happy trip, mate, and I hope it goes well. I don't even know what to write. Thanks for the content, Craig. I and many others are waiting for that club statement. So am I. Like, it's such a horrible mindset knowing that I'm coming on to talk to people I love, people I enjoy interacting with every day, people that make my life better on a personal level. But I know that you're going to be hurting. I know that you're going to be as frustrated and as annoyed as I am. And that's a weird mindset to come into because we all want the best. No matter what side of this debate we're on, whether you think the manager should be given more time, whether you think he shouldn't be, we're all hurting. It's tough. It's been heavy sledding this year. It really has. Leona said, I feel so bad for Gakpo especially. Did you see the camera, Leona, pan to him at the end? Oh, he looked heartbroken. He must have thought he's got the winner, and rightly so. Craig, do you honestly think we will sign an experienced centre-back this month, said that meme guy. Personally, I don't think we do. It depends what you regard as experience. I think the Joel Ordonez stuff is possible, and I'll be back tonight at 8:45 and we'll go through that in a bit more detail. But would I sit here with 50 quid in my hand and say I'd be willing to bet you that 50 quid we get one in? No, I don't think I would. I think I'm probably 50-50 on whether it happens or not. But I hope to God it does, mate. I really hope to God it does. Right, so the poll is up. We're asking slot in or slot out. Still time to vote. Don't forget, our match reaction, our player ratings video is coming up soon as well. And if you would like to submit your player ratings, just scan that QR code in the bottom corner of the screen. That will bring you to the Anfield Agenda WhatsApp, which is where we submit the player ratings, where we'll be putting some transfer news and gossips in, and where we run polls as well, asking you for your opinions on big Liverpool issues. It is, of course, free for everybody to come in. Irfan, how are you, my friend? Said unbeaten in 9 doesn't mean anything. Need a change of manager now just to restore order and some discipline. We are desperate for some pace in attack. I agree, Irfan, my friend. I agree, and thank you again, sir, for your time. Slot and his whole team needs to go. I think Jared Coit would take it until the end of the season, said Will. Thank you, Will. Julio said, even on the touchline, you could tell Slot's not it. Marco Silva was urging his players on. You could hear it in the broadcast. I didn't hear Slot once. The substitutions were weird today as well, right? So, makes the substitution for Frimpong, which I totally get. I get for 2 reasons. One, we knew Wirtz was covering a knock, and Frimpong was also coming back. So that made sense, and I'm not going to rewrite history on that one. No problem with that change. Chiesa in 85 again, though. Like, if you really have ambitions to go win the game, do it quicker. Get him on, give him a chance. It just feels like he's doing these so he can say, well, I tried. And then on the list of appearances, it will show how many appearances Chiesa has made, and he'll find some bullshit way to justify having not played him and say, well, he played in X amount of games. What matter that the total minutes in those would be garbage? Right, I've got lots of comments to go through, but let me fly through these quickly. And I want to give you some of the comments then from the, social media, from the manager and from the players. Drying paint, falls asleep watching slot ball. How long do you think the slot gets sacked? My information, like I've said numerous times, was that it will be the summer unless something comes up that the club feel can push them forward now. I can't say any more or less than that because I don't know the lay of the land. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with regards to if they are looking at others, if they're waiting for somebody. But I don't know what they're waiting for to get rid of this lad, because it is just tearing a fan base apart and breaking hearts over and over and over again. Chris said, imagine scoring that worldie and the sinking feeling you get in that dressing room knowing you can't get away from that performance as you're staying in London till you play Arsenal with a manager like him. Yep. Father Christmas is currently available, said Cat Dad. Tactics are non-existent. Gakpo celebration, shameless after how he played. Same every damn week, just not good enough. Sack slot getting interim. It just feels like I've said, we have a moment that's a moment based off some individual good play rather than a statistical, an analytical, or a coaching pattern. Christian, Happy New Year to you, sir, as well, and to all the other Reds. I like Iriola. He presses like Klopp. You would ask, though, is it too big a job for Andoni Iriola to walk into? Like, it is a big, big gig to walk into. Gakpo with the Richarlison jinx takes the shirt off after scoring, even though he was crap, and then Fulham score. And with the cup marks as well, down the back. You can see he obviously does a bit of cupping to loosen them up before the games. Watching this team is like attending a funeral. Wasn't luck. We gave Reed all the time and space. I never said for 1 second it was luck. I just said, I don't want to take away from the strike from Reed, because it was an incredible strike, and, fair play to the kid. It was an absolute beautiful goal, but we did nothing to close him down. And that's where my anger is. If you're a Fulham fan, you're thinking, wow, and rightly so. If you're Reed, you're thinking, what a worldie. But I, as a Liverpool fan, look at it through Liverpool eyes and just think, how again does somebody have that much space unmarked around our box? Hey, Craig, you have a rough top 3 to 5 replacement for managers, no particular order. For me, it's Glasner, Nagelsmann, Iriola, and Alonso. Thoughts? Unsure on Glasner, but I can understand the thinking. Nagelsmann, I don't know enough about to know if his style would suit us or on his personality, and he's in the German job as well. Iriola, I think it's again a big step up, and I don't know if he has the gravitas and the presence to be able to step into that dressing room and command it, but I do like his style. Alonso, I would take as a yes, even though it may be not going as well as Madrid. But so here's Liverpool's next Premier League 6 fixtures. Arsenal away, Burnley at home, Bournemouth away, Newcastle at home, City at home, and Sunderland away. So the easy run is over, ladies and gents. Now the realism starts. Sorry, I'm trying to get you some quotes here. Arne Slot said, we were one incredible strike away from getting a good result. We were unlucky at half-time that we were 1-0 down. It was the only chance we conceded. It wasn't as if we created many chances, but before the 1-0 we had the same chances as them. Fuck off, you clown. It's just always, we're so unlucky, aren't we? We're always just so unlucky, Arne. So unlucky that you can't coach a team. So unlucky that your players won't close down. So unlucky that we can't see out a game in the 95th minute. So unlucky, Arne. So unlucky. Arne said, for the players we had available, I think we played a decent game. We always want more. Okay, mate. Okay. Florian Wirtz, I was sure it was offside, so I didn't even celebrate. I was happy that I scored, but I'd rather take the 3 points. So even Wirtz admitted he thought he was off. On the late goal, Wirtz said, the strike, there's nothing to say. It was unbelievable. You cannot save that. Normally, it doesn't go in like this. The actions before could have been better. I'm not sure it was from a throw-in, so we have to be better. Yes, we have to close down, mate, and block. We do. Again, from Vert, he said, again, we're in a difficult situation because we drew twice. It's not what we want. We want more. We have to get better, but it's still a process. But not with this manager, Florian. That process, bro, needs to be over. Cody Gakpo, he said, yes, that's true. I thought this goal was the winner. The moment I sat down on the bench, they scored. It's disappointing for us. We fought very hard in the second half. Dominated at moments and tried to create chances. At the end, I scored in the 95th minute. They scored in the 97th minute. A wonderful goal, to be fair. Unlucky, unfortunate. Not unlucky, not unfortunate, not good enough is what you're looking for, Cody. Didn't close him down. Gave him all the time in the world to shoot. Yes, it's a great strike. But it's a great strike with no pressure on it. It feels like players are going through the motions. And thank you for your 9-month membership, my friend. Craig, remember I told you a while back, look, Chiesa is still garbage minutes, even though Salah is away. Clear agenda, sack him. Mate, you've not got to convince me about the Chiesa dislike from Arna. I've been, same as everybody else, calling it out for a very, very long time. It's not good enough, and his treatment of him is disgraceful. If you don't want them, get rid of them. It's 7 million quid a year that's been paid out for a player the manager doesn't want. This story of unbeaten run is the same. The first few wins we got at the start, only good on paper. Everything else is just not convincing. Gakpo over-celebrated early like the game was over. Similar to when Slot over-celebrated the title before the season was over. It's just who we are, said no lie Eli. What's the point of a new centre-back if Slot's in charge? Because he won't be in charge forever, I guess is the point, mate. And another option, because let's not forget, Canade, we don't know what's going on with him. He's available and can talk to clubs outside the Premier League now and all the way to the end of the season, openly. And there's nothing we can do about it. So we've one centre-back in Virgil, one coming back from injury in Gomez, and Canade, who could leave for free in a few months and refuses to sign the new deal. That's why I think we need a centre-back, even if the manager is still here for a week, 2 weeks, a month, whatever. Sky Sports Studio just confirmed Wirtz was indeed offside. Look, to me and most others, with the naked eye, which is all we have, he looked slightly offside. Couple of things there are, you are going off your eye line on the cut of the grass, which isn't necessarily straight. We don't know the camera angle. But if Sky are saying it's offside and they have their own things, it adds up more in my mind than it being onside, because I felt in the moment it was offside. Lewis Steele just reported, Arne Slot says Hugo Ekitike travelled to London, but they got the MRI scan on the flight after training that he had a muscular issue that is delayed onset muscle soreness, so they could not risk him, especially with Isak being injured. So that's a bit of an explanation there as to why no Ekitike so last minute. I think Chiesa came on as a reaction to Adama Traore coming on so we could deal with him. Said Mohad. Thank you, Mohad. Appreciate you, sir. Look, I totally agree. The manager hasn't really been that great. However, to have the worst run since the 1950s and still be in the top 4 and Champions League, they won't get rid of him just yet, in my opinion. Look, like you said, mate, we agree that it isn't good enough. You or I, despite how much we may agree or disagree, my friend, we don't make the decision, like you've said. And I think you could be right. They will keep him there till the end of the season. I can only say what I want to happen and what I think's the right thing. Let's look at that run again. We lost by 3 clear goals 3 games in a row. That's shocking. 2 of them at home. Look, I could go back through them, but I'd just be boring everybody at this point. And again, we lost to a shit Galatasaray side away. Trounced 4-1 at home by Eindhoven. It just, I don't know, man. Look, you're probably right on the length of time, but I just don't see the benefit of keeping them in place. If Slot is in before the Arsenal game, we aren't serious. Well, I don't think he'd be going anywhere before then. Ahmed said, Arne's a good coach. Just Klopp just used to watch Klopp's Hard Rock Football. Most of that system players has gone. Give his ideas a chance. So, how long do you want of a chance, Ahmed? Honestly, bro. Like, even the journalists, Ahmed, who are far more pro-Slot than I would be at the minute, even they're writing that there's no identity. You know? So I'm not inventing that. We've no philosophy, no identity, no footballing imprint that's there to see. So there isn't the system. There isn't the style he's trying to implement, and it's errors from that style that's causing this. That's not the case, mate. He's just not very good. He just isn't fit and cut out for this league. And he doesn't seem to have had a clue what to do with the players that he would have been part of the process of bringing in. Like, come on. Look at this. Look at the quality we have in our squad. Hanging on for 4th place is nowhere near good enough. Isak, I know he's injured at the minute. Ekitike, Wirtz, Van Dijk, Salah, Soboslai, McAllister, Gravenberch. It's just name after name rolling off the tongue. Alisson Becker. He's just not a good coach, dude. And his style of football just isn't suited to the Premier League. And remember as well, Ahmed, why he was brought in. He was brought in because philosophically, he was similar and statistically very similar to the methodology of the way Klopp did play. So it isn't like he had to rip up the book and go again. He chose to rip up the book. And now he doesn't have an identity. The midfield should have been Gravenberch, Soboslai and Wirtz up top. Left wing Ngamoa, right wing Frimpong. There's no pace. There's not any pace, energy in midfield. Up to the attackers. We need a new manager. Thank you very much. Kornishov, thank you. So Connor said, if he was offside, haven't seen that Sky confirmation. It looks like the semi-automated offside has his foot in the air and slightly further back than it was. Seems to have been his foot on the ground in reality. So again, we'll check back over that one and we'll have more on that later on. So, some more comments from our manager. The players are given everything they have. I have to keep in mind that I have to keep them available. Isak is out and I have to overload to play Hugo more. A player who has never played in the Premier League. You have to manage that. We still have 11 good players on the pitch. Arna, you little fraud. You have Chiesa, who you've stuck 2 fingers up to for a year and a half. You have Rio, who you don't want to block the pathway for, but don't trust to play minutes. So you have intentionally ignored 1/3 of your forward line, alienating another one who's off of the AFCON now, and Isak's injured. You don't get to cry boo-hoo on injuries when you have fucking ignored players. This man really is delusional. He just doesn't seem to accept any responsibility. Every time, Arna said, every time it's just not enough. We relied on the whole season on good and bad luck. That's something we have to improve. We have to improve on a shot in the last minute does not immediately lead to us losing points. That is what we're trying to do, but that's not done yet. So apparently Arna thinks that players don't know to close down someone shooting on the edge of the box. 18 months managing them and coaching them and working on the training ground every day. But when you're winning a game by a goal in the last minute and the team have a throw in at the side of the pitch, they haven't gotten around to closing down yet. Haven't got round to that yet. That hasn't been worked on yet. We still need to do that according to this coach. We still need to teach defenders, some of them on 300 grand a week, how to go out and close down a man. I wonder when we'll get to work on that on the training ground. Jane Gum, thank you. Appreciate you. Let's check in on our poll. So, 5,700 votes into the poll and 85% of people want Arna out. 85%. And remember, there will be people voting that they want him in who are opposition fans for the Bants. So you can probably say that that's a bit higher. But either way, like on every poll that we've ran on WhatsApp, on Twitter, on YouTube live streams, every single one of them has been somewhere between 80 and 87% that they want the manager gone. He needs to go. If you'd like to submit your player ratings, by the way, there is still time to get those in. There's a link pinned to the top of the live chat as well there at the minute. I'll be going in a couple of minutes to record that player ratings video. You need Tony Pulis. We can't afford him, mate, because he's doing the Uber Eats ads at the minute, and we can't afford to compete with them. It is Uber Eats, isn't it, that he does it with? Arna said, so many points have disappeared for us. Of course it's frustrating. It's also frustrating that their first chance of the game goes in. That's also not the first time. They had a second chance while Alisson was out of his goal and they chipped and hit the bar. For the rest, I think it's quite good if you play an away game and barely concede a chance. It isn't as if we created chance after chance. That was not the situation. But just before they scored 1-0, we had a similar chance and we went close. He keeps banging on about unlucky. Everything seems to be unlucky. Poor old Arna. It's all unlucky. It's never, ever, ever anything but bad luck. Bad luck. You know, we only conceded 3 chances, but they scored from 2 of them. But hey-ho. Every shot on target they had, they scored from. Same as us. They had 8, scored 2. We had 10 shots, 2 on target, both goals. But again, it's the context of the way it comes about. We have a winning position and we throw it away. Ladies and gents, I'm going to go record the player ratings video. I want to again say a huge thank you to you all for your support today, and I'll be back at 8:45 for the late night agenda, where we'll go through the transfer talk, the manager situation, and so much more. On behalf of myself, Connor, and everybody, sincerely thank you so much for being here with us today. If you've enjoyed the streams, please do hit that subscribe button, drop a like. The player ratings video will be out in the next half hour or so, and then we'll see you hopefully tonight at 8:45. Until then, appreciate you.